Greetings. This is the boxing profile for boxer number 50 in the Pioneer rankings. Boxer Jake Kilrain, born February 9th, 1859 in Boston, Massachusetts. Many of these fighters on the bottom of the Pioneer list here were known for monumental efforts in defeat. I guess some of that comes in mind with Jake Kilrain, as he gave some rather monumental efforts in defeat. But Jake Kilrain, unlike some of these other guys, I guess would be lay the claim to fame as being one of the few fighters on here that may have not actually lost a match in his prime. As we're going to discuss in the beginning here some of the difficulties that make Kilrain a difficult fighter to get a gauge on and rank. Kilrain started his career as a lean, mean boxing machine, as I'll show here. Beautiful, trim fighter with good power, and he had a natural build on him that was, like a very hefty light heavyweight and cruiserweight range. And as Kilrain got older, he became rather pudgy and not quite in great a shape as he went into what would look like this. And even when Kilrain finally got a chance to meet John L Sullivan in the ring in July of 1889, Kilrain, even at that point, 30 years old, appeared to be out of his youth. And even in that fight, he was not in a very good shape, as Jake Kilrain had something very in common with Bob Fitzsimmons, as they both suffered from the exact same thing. Both of these fighters got stuck waiting for the champion to fight them as the top contender. Just as James J. Corbett made Bob Fitzsimmons wait to fight him, and basically wasted Bob Fitzsimmons' youth, as he didn't want to lose a position as being the top challenger, so they just possibly did not fight. The very same thing happened to Jake Kilrain, as he took all of the year of 1888 off. So he fought Jem Smith December of 1887, took all of 1888 off, and then fought John L Sullivan in July of 1889, which is that's 18 months of not fighting. So in those 18 months, Jake Kilrain, even in the Sullivan bout, Charlie Mitchell, who was training him, said it was a monumental task just to get Jake Kilrain into the shape that he actually was when he fought Sullivan. So had they fought earlier at a different point in time, Kilrain would have possibly, given John L. Sullivan a much better fight. And he may not be remembered as just the person that lost to John L. Sullivan, as his prime had slipped away from him even during the Sullivan fight. So these are some of the factors that make Jake Kilrain a rather difficult fighter to actually gauge and rank. But this is exactly where the simulation put him. Jake Kilrain did surprisingly good in simulation, as we'll find out here in the future. But this is where simulation had him snuggled right after George Byers, and I guess he was a little bit higher ranked, but as some of the other fighters started getting ahead of steam, they kind of pushed Kilrain down a little bit. And I guess this is a pretty fair assessment for him. He makes a case that he should have been ranked higher, as he beat George Godfrey, who was ranked higher in here. But other than Godfrey, Kilrain didn't have a real lot of notable wins. So this is where simulation is putting him at boxer number 50. And we're going to go through Jake Kilrain's checklist here. So just give me a sec. Jake Kilrain, boxer number 50, born 2 1859 in Boston. He debuted in 1879 at the age of 19, very much in the infancy stages of boxing. And he ended in 1899 at the age of 40 when he was no longer in any type of shape to do much damage to anyone. The biography for Jake Kilrain. Jake Kilrain was presented a silver belt in 1887 as the Police Gazette National Champion, as it took public pressure and all kinds of factors to get John L. Sullivan into the ring finally in the summer of 1889. But he finally did manage to get him into the ring. The fighting style for Jake Kilrain, he's definitely a cowboy, very crude style, much like Frank Childs and Great White Hope Fighters. That's how a cowboy style would appear. I see no notes in any of his fights crediting Jake Kilrain with a good defense. And trust me, if he had good defense, the newspapers would most definitely mention it, as they do with the other fighters. The competitive rounds fought 112. Kilrain, he had a lot of very long fights with Jem Smith and George Godfrey, but the maximum competitive rounds per individual match is 25, so his competitive rounds is 112. Not a great number, but not super bad. My score for him would be 16. He's right around that's right around the range of some of the other pioneer fighters, such as George LeBlanc. The level ups for Jake Kilrain, really only one of them, I guess, would be Frank Slavin. So 0 for 1 on level ups for Jake Kilrain, as Slavin completely destroyed him. Jake Kilrain's nemesis would be Old Chocolate George Godfrey. He was definitely one of the chief fighters going against him, as he officially fought Godfrey 3 times and won 2 of the 3. So, as I stated, Kilrain has a case to be made for being ranked higher than he is, but this is where he's ranked. Jake Kilrain's greatest achievement would be beating up Jem Smith for the World Championship and getting the Police Gazette National Championship silver belt, as Kilrain is one of the very few fighters in here that's a world champion, even though the American side of it was much of a fluke, as he declared himself the U.S. champion because Jake Kilrain declared himself U.S. champion because John L. Sullivan was refusing to face him, and the Police Gazette used pressure to get John L. Sullivan into the ring by declaring him national champion. But regardless, he was still a world champion. So Jake Kilrain's biggest miss, Jake Kilrain could have fought either the heavyweight Joe McAuliffe or Tom Lees, the Australian, in the 1888 range. And a fight with Kilrain and Tom Lees, I think, would be a great fight. I think that'd be pretty even. It's very difficult to say how Kilrain and Sullivan would do against Joe McAuliffe. You would think they would be able to beat him, but McAuliffe was a true heavyweight, unlike either one Kilrain or Sullivan, who were more cruiserweight. And Peter Jackson fought Joe McAuliffe in his prime, and it took him quite a long time to actually dispense Joe McAuliffe. So Joe McAuliffe would absolutely have a fighter's chance against Kilrain or Sullivan in 1888 range, and that would Kilrain should have definitely fought him, but instead he was absolutely wasting his prime by farting around waiting for the John L Sullivan match, which earned him a ton of money. So who are we to object to how things played out? So the newspaper depiction. This is right out of the newspaper quote. A pugilist who is continually having a merry time cannot possibly appear to be as good as one who is well trained. That is in the early year of 1890. Just a matter of 6 months after he fought John L. Sullivan, he fought James Corbett, and that was the comment says the pugilist who was not in shape and not very well trained. He was having a grand old merry time, just like a Santa Claus, and he had a body very much like Santa Claus at that point. So let's take a look at Jake Kilrain's true potential here, as we're going to see how he does in simulation. Kilrain had lots of wins against people that were ranked far ahead of him. He was very closely matched with the fighter Hank Griffin as they fought, and Jake Kilrain got a 15-round split decision win over Griffin with knockdowns by both sides. So that's close to where his true potential is, to be about level with Hank Griffin. Jake Kilrain had a win over George Byers, ranked just behind him. He had a win over Jim Flynn, fireman Jim Flynn. He had a win over nonpareil Jack Dempsey. So even though Dempsey was the great American fighter, they were of a different weight class, being middleweight, Kilrain could still beat a great American fighter. He had a win over Frank Childs. He had a win over George Godfrey, who he beat in real life. And he had wins over Mysterious Billy Smith and Jack Bonner, and a win over middleweight Mike Donovan. A lot of these guys, half of them were ranked ahead of Kilrain. So Kilrain is showing that his true potential when he's in shape is pretty good. If he's able to beat Hank Griffin and George Godfrey and such, I would say he'd be very much championship material to fight prime Jack Johnson, as Jim Flynn fought him. So Jake Kilrain would have very much been a good fight for Jack Johnson. And finally, we are going to do boxers born around Jake Kilrain here. So Jake Kilrain is just 6 fighters into the birth years master log, so he's very much at the infancy stages of boxing, as we're going to go right down the list here of the significant boxers that first rate out here. 1851, Bill Varnon. 1853, George Old Chocolate Godfrey. 1856, George LeBlanc. 1858, Tom Lees. 1858, John L. Sullivan. 1859, Jake Kilrain. And then we have the master class of 1861, Harry Lang, Peter Jackson, Joe Goddard, Pat Killian, and Frank Slavin. 1862, nonpareil Jack Dempsey. 1863, Patsy Cardiff. 1863, Bob Fitzsimmons. 1864, Joe McAuliffe. 1865, Denver Ed Smith. So, as we can see through at least a dozen fighters there, that Jake Kilrain did not face a lot of these. 3 of them are on the list here. He faced John L. Sullivan, George Godfrey, and Frank Slavin. So that's part of the reason why he's getting handicapped as far as his ranking goes, because a lot of these fighters he could have faced, but he did not, and that's really pushing down his ranking, because his score and his competitive rounds are suffering because of that. So now we're going to go through Jake Kilrain's competitive rounds fought, and the notes from the fights that were considered his competitive rounds. And we're going to do that now. Okay, so as we go through Jake Kilrain's competitive rounds fought, I want to make a note here that Kilrain is a little bit different than some of the other fighters that are appearing here, as many of his opponents are not, top 60 ranked. So I just tried to get the fights mentioned that actually were competitive, as that really wasn't Kilrain's fault, as boxing was in a very young stage at that point of his career launch. And Kilrain started in 1879, which is actually before the 1880s, and that's a very young infancy stage in professional boxing. So Jake Kilrain's first significant match was in 1882 against Old Chocolate George Godfrey. That was a 3-round draw. I could find no information on that. The following year, he fought George Godfrey in a rematch, and he fought a victorious battle of a 3-round win. Again, there's no newspaper mention of this, because neither fighters were well known enough to make headlines in the newspaper. So they're both young into their careers, but Godfrey is certainly a very good opponent. Kilrain's next competitive rounds match is against a notorious opponent in 1884. The following year, Jake Kilrain, 25 years old, against Charlie Mitchell. A 4-round draw. The notes of the match are: no blood was spilled. Kilrain went down, but it did not appear a knockdown, as Kilrain got up smiling, unaffected. Sparring. At the end of sparring, both appeared fresh and uninjured. The newspaper described this as Jake Kilrain's debut, and this was in 1884. Then Jake Kilrain takes on Mike Cleary, and this wasn't very competitive. Kilrain put it over on Cleary. Mike Cleary humanely ending the bout. December 1884 was his next competitive rounds match against the fighter Jack Burke, who also faced John L Sullivan. Burke was bleeding from the nose in round 1. The second round, Burke showed remarkable agility and put in several blows on the head of Jake Kilrain. Kilrain worked the body. The third round, the two combatants came together with a shower of blows as the spectators went wild. A hot round of action, and Burke was staggered in the third round. The fourth round, a hard blow on Burke's head staggered him, but Kilrain did not follow up the opportunity. Referee Mahoney declared a draw, but the manner in which Burke stood up to Kilrain's punishment won him warm admiration. The official decision, 5-round draw. And the newspaper in that article there describes Jake Kilrain as he's known as the gentlemanly pugilist. Point, Jake Kilrain starts becoming a little bit more well known in the press. Interestingly enough, he's referred to as the Boston Strong Boy, just like John L. Sullivan was, because Kilrain is fighting out of Boston. And at this point, he starts changing his look as he starts developing the famous mustache look that Sullivan copied himself. I don't know who copied who, but it had a Urca Sullivan a little bit as he had the same mustache and was getting referred to as the Boston Strong Boy. So his next competitive rounds match is Jake Kilrain at 27 years old against Jack Ashton. 8-round draw. These are the notes from the match. Jack Ashton got first blood with a smash on the nose. Back and forth action for 7 rounds. The 8th round, great excitement for the last round. Kilrain brought blood from Ashton's nose. Ashton went in with both hands and looked a sure winner at one time. Kilrain fought with wonderful skill and coolness. Once staggered Ashton with a right on the jaw. Excited spectators rushed the stage during a clinch with 1 minute left in the round and tore the fighters apart. Both men were helped to the corners by enthusiastic friends. The referee gave the contest to Jake Kilrain. That's pretty interesting because the year here is 1886. This is the only match that I've read so far that actually has spectators crashing the middle of the match as they enter the ring without the end officially happening, as enthusiastic friends helped the fighters to the corners. Pretty interesting that they actually rushed the stage. Very unusual. March 1887, the following year, is when Jake Kilrain really starts making some headway here as he is taking on one of the top contenders at the time, Joe Lannon. The official verdict was a win, TKO, in round 11. And these are the notes here. After 2 or 3 postponements and 1 interference by police, the 2 combatants finally get together in the ring. Kilrain is a 5-4 favorite. The 3rd round, Kilrain's right on the neck put Lannon down. Lannon was up at 7. Jake pounded him around the ring. Lannon stayed the round to the finish. The 5th round was brisk. Kilrain got in a nice blows on Landon's face. Landon's face started to become distorted. The 10th round, Kilrain forced the fighting and a tired Lannon appeared almost done. The 11th round, last round, Kilrain seemed determined to end the contest. A left on the eye dropped Lannon. Lannon rose, badly dazed. 3 blows consecutive and Lannon fell unconscious to the floor. Lannon was unconscious for 20 minutes. Badly swollen head and a very distorted face were his rewards for the match. As they state in here that Joe Lannon was very beat up in the match, and he was in a very bad shape at the end of that. So Lannon was one of the top contenders at the time, even though he is not a very significant fighter of note. But it earned Jake Kilrain enough of a prestige to get a match with Smith, who was actually younger than him. Jem Smith was the British champion, and this turns out to be a pretty huge worldwide match as Jake Kilrain takes on Jem Smith in December of 1887, and this was advertised for the World Championship as Kilrain was the U.S. champion because Sullivan was not fighting, and Jem Smith was the British champion. The results of the match were 106 rounds of action, in which the bout was declared a draw on the account of darkness, as artificial lighting had not been staged for the event, and they were just running out of daylight, and people, I guess, started getting bored of Kilrain beating up on Smith, and they just called an end to it. Jem Smith, he was terribly punished. His left ear torn. His neck was twice its size. Smith was punished around the face and will not be the same man for some time to come. The effects on Jake Kilrain. Jake Kilrain had 2 big lumps and a left eye nearly closed. And when Jake Kilrain came back to America, the Police Gazette awarded him a world champion, presented him with a silver belt. This is in mid-December of 1887, in the hopes of luring John L. Sullivan out of a stationary mode, and to try and raise the irk to cause a fight to happen between him. And I guess the events proved fruitful because July 1889 is Jake Kilrain's next competitive rounds fought against John L. Sullivan. And again, just like against Jem Smith, they do bare knuckle boxing. So the Jem Smith bout was in December of 1887. The entire year of 1888, Jake Kilrain takes off as he wants to keep his prestige as the number 1 contender and doesn't want to jeopardize that by doing any matches that he had the potential to lose and lose his opportunity to get to the championship fight with Sullivan. So finally, in July of 1889, the fight with Sullivan happens, which is a good solid 16 months after his last fight. And in that amount of time, Kilrain starts really losing his prime, has just slipped away from him as he is not been fighting, not in fighting shape, and has beefed up and got out of shape, as Sullivan probably had his own issues with this, as these fighters were a bit inactive at the time. So these are the notes from the match. The 5th round, Kilrain goes down in his corner on a slip. The 7th round, Sullivan starts bleeding, and he gets a knockdown on Jake Kilrain. The 8th round, Kilrain went down to avoid punishment. He does this again in the 9th round and in the 15th round, as these are 1-minute rounds, so when he's going down to avoid punishment, he's able to get a fair amount of rest, as they're 1-minute rounds with 30 seconds between rounds. The 18th round, Kilrain goes down without even a blow, which is very unfortunate. That's a Bobby Dobbs move, as he did that frequently. The 20th, Sullivan chasing Kilrain around the ring, in the end of the fight. Sullivan has a slight cut under his right eye and left ear, and Kilrain's body shows the effects of the blows. Jake Kilrain was bleeding at the nose, ear, and mouth. After the fight, Jake Kilrain said it felt as if he had been drugged and that he was not a normal self. He felt like he had no steam in his punches, and he said he felt as if he was drugged. I think the results of him feeling like this, where he had no steam in his punches, was the huge layoff. I think a lot of his muscle tone was probably lost during the dramatic layoff, and had they fought earlier, perhaps Kilrain would have given him a much better bout. As reading the notes of the Kilrain Sullivan bout, it does not seem super competitive, as Sullivan appears head and shoulders better than Jake Kilrain. And at that point, Jake Kilrain lost any aspirations he had as the world champion. They were all thrown out the window. And that was really John L. Sullivan's last hurrah, too, as by the 1890, he declares that he is retired, and he has no interest in fighting anymore, because he's making so much money on the theatrical appearances, and it's easy money that he doesn't really need to work hard for. So he's more than content no longer fighting John L. Sullivan. But Jake Kilrain is moving on here. In just a matter of about 7 months later, February of 1890, Jake Kilrain takes on future heavyweight champion James J. Corbett. And this is the famous newspaper quote here. I love this. A pugilist who is continually having a merry time of it cannot possibly appear to be as good as one who is well trained. Jake Kilrain having a merry time of it, as conditioning was not his friend. The second round, Corbett draws blood and Kilrain loses his confidence. So within 2 rounds, Kilrain has already lost his confidence here. The 4th round ended somewhat in Jake Kilrain's favor. The referee announced that Corbett was the winner. Corbett blackened both of Jake Kilrain's eyes. Kilrain, winded, bruised, and perspiring dramatically when the milling ended, while Corbett was fresh as a daisy. So Jake Kilrain suffers a loss there to James J. Corbett. That's a 6-round loss. His next big match is about a year later, March of 1891, as Jake Kilrain does the amazing and pulls himself in shape one last time to prove without any doubt that he's superior to George Old Chocolate Godfrey, as they have the 3rd match of the trilogy, and this is a dramatically fantastic fight with a 44-round win for Jake Kilrain. And these are the notes for the match. In the 3rd round, a bruise appears under Jake Kilrain's left eye. The 4th round, Godfrey catches a punch in the chest that causes him to groan. The 6th round, Godfrey's left temple appears slightly cut. In the 11th round, Godfrey got the best of Kilrain and slightly dazes Jake Kilrain. A few rounds later, the 14th round, Kilrain drives a powerful left to Godfrey, staggering him. The 16th round. Godfrey was powerless against the fierce swings rained upon his head. He continued to smile and hang on bravely, but another minute of the round, he would have been knocked out. So this is pretty amazing. That's the 16th round, and this goes 44 rounds. So Godfrey seems to have a superhuman ability and endurance here to be able to withstand some of this punishment. He seems not of this earth. By the mid-20th round, Godfrey had taken sufficient punishment to wear out many pugilists. Godfrey had taken such wear the fight was losing its interest, and it was declared that Jake Kilrain was the winner. There's some other notes here. This is the last round here. Godfrey stood feebly against the ropes. Godfrey went through the ropes helplessly, landing with his head in a box of sawdust. Godfrey got up from outside the ring and attempted to try and start climbing back into the ring for more action. At this point, the boxing match was halted, as they felt that stopping the fight was in the best interest of George Godfrey's health, as even with all the punishment he took going through the ropes, landing in a box of sawdust, and still managed to climb himself back into the ring looking for some more punishment. It's just amazing the amount of grit that these old fighters showed. And there's also a note here that says little or no blood was drawn during the match, which seems pretty hard to believe for a 44-round fight, but those are the official notes. So finally, that was in March, I think, in July of 1891, the very same year, is Jake Kilrain's Waterloo, his last match of significance. And that was against an Australian fighter, Frank Paddy Slavin. And at this point, the Australian fighters were getting pretty famous, and they were invading into the Americas here, as Bob Fitzsimmons would beat one of the best American fighters in nonpareil Jack Dempsey. Frank Slavin here is taking on Jake Kilrain. Frank Slavin also takes on Joe McAuliffe, and as these Australians are clashing with the Americans. But the Australians were very well-trained fighters in academies, whereas most of these pioneer American fighters were just renegade fighters that were self-taught and not nearly of the disciplined or boxing instruction that the acumen that the Australian fighters were having. So at this point, Slavin comes in here and just kind of appears like a Drago and Rocky. Is he just going to absolutely have a dismantle Jake Kilrain to biblical proportions, and is the new training style of the Australians proves extremely successful, just as it did for Ivan Drago and Rocky. And these are the notes of the match here. The first round, Slavin pounds Killian's ribs repeatedly, as Slavin is known as rib roasters. The second round, Jake assumed the aggressor and almost knocked Slavin over the ropes. The round ended all in Jake's favor, and a sense of enthusiasm came across the crowd, which caused Slavin to look very surprised. The third round. This seems to be the end for Jake's strength. as 2 rounds were all he had for his vitality. Slavin shot out his right like a piston rod. He caught Kilrain under the ear. Kilrain went down helpless, his eyes almost closed. He manages to stagger to his feet, but it was painfully evident his strength was gone. Another terrible blow, and slowly, painfully, half insensible, Kilrain staggers to his knees as the gong sounds and saves him. That was the 3rd round. This goes 9 rounds, and Kilrain seems absolutely spent at the 3rd rounder as he went down twice. The 4th round, Kilrain down again, blood pouring from his nose, which was said to be broken. 4 times Jake Kilrain went down in this round, only to rise. Constantly, Frank Slavin gave his rib-roasting punishment every time Jake Kilrain attempted to clinch. The Australian seemed to be partial to the body blows. The round ended with Jake Kilrain as an absolute bloody mess. The 5th round. Soon another right sent Jake down again. He manages to stagger up again. Jake saved himself by spilled water in the corner of Frank Slavin as they had to clean up the water, and he gave Kilrain enough time to recuperate. This is one of the problems that Slavin is having in knocking out Kilrain. From what I gathered in the newspaper articles, they were pouring water on Slavin, and it made everything wet. His gloves were wet, so they would slide off Jake Kilrain's face, and he couldn't get clean, solid shots on him, which is why Kilrain is managing to just hang in there for so long. And in fact, so much water mixed with Kilrain's blood from his broken nose is creating absolute blood over everything. Over Slavin, over the referee, over Jake Kilrain, all over the ring floor, blood everywhere. It's a rather gruesome sight from what I was reading on the newspaper accounts. Round 6, Slavin's vigorous effort to finish knocking out his opponent as Slavin chased Kilrain around the ring. With clinches came those dreadful piston rod body blows. Another clinch and Jake's ribs suffered severely. He was little more than a chopping block for the big Australian behemoth. The sounds of Slavin's blows was actually heard outside the clubhouse, and thus Kilrain practically met his last Waterloo and passed into the ranks of the second-class fighters. That's a pretty amazing bit of sentences there, as Frank Slavin's blows were actually heard outside the clubhouse as he was pounding Jake Kilrain about the body. It's just amazing the amount of punishment that Jake Kilrain stood up to, and that was the 6th round. This ends in the 9th round, and I think I'm gonna read a newspaper report of this fight here, because the amount of punishment that Jake Kilrain absorbs in this just seems amazing. It's just hard to believe unless you actually can read it. The amount of times that he goes down and the blood, and he's got a broken nose, and they're, Drago's over there throwing huge blows on him. They can hear it all the way outside the clubhouse. It's just amazing the amount of punishment that Jake Kilrain stood up to there. So that is the end of Kilrain's career here as we pull the plug on him. He did fight Slavin once again, as apparently he still wanted more punishment from Slavin. But he took several years off, and at that point he was well past his prime. I guess Jake Kilrain fought till 40 years of age. It's interesting to note here, so as we went through all of his bouts there, Kilrain really only had 3 losses, and they were to all first-class opponents there. He had a loss to John L Sullivan, he had a loss to James J. Corbett, and then he had a loss to Frank Slavin. Each one of those fighters were very highly ranked, and having only really 3 legitimate losses is a pretty outstanding career, no matter how you want to look at it. As there is a loss on there, a 4-round loss, saying he lost to John Scholes, but that was not a loss. That's incorrect information on a boxing rec, as the nose decision was rendered there. That's not a loss. So he had 3 legitimate losses, and Jake Kilrain, I guess, was in healthy enough shape that he lived to be a long life, as he died at the age of 78 years old. And as I stated in the previous video, he lived into the 30s, as he died in 1937, which was huge news, because that's deep into the boxing history of 1937, and they were saying the last of the bare-knuckle fighters dies, and he outlived all of them. All those people he outlived, and he died right around the times when Jim Flynn and George Barnes was dying, and he was dramatically older than them. So props to Jake Kilrain for living a very long, illustrious life, as he had his health with him. Despite all the punishment that he took in the ring, he still lived to have a long, productive life with his wife, and he made huge news when he died, as he was the very last of the bare-knuckle champions, far, far, far removed from the 1879 start that he had in boxing when he died in 1937. So that was a very long, well-lived life that Jake Kilrain put in. And that is the boxing profile for one Jake Kilrain.